It's been at least 5 years, if not longer, since MMO fans across the world have dared to get genuinely excited about a new MMO. We've been lied to, cheated, stolen from, and let down by countless studios over the last 20 or so years, and all that damage has taken its toll. That's why it's been fascinating for me to see the hype building to a truly palpable level with Ashes of Creation. Big YouTubers and streamers are talking about it, reacting to developer diary videos, and promoting the game well over a year ahead of its release. I've even personally allowed myself to start getting hyped about this game, which hasn't happened to me since way back in 2009 during the lead up to the launch of Star Wars The Old Republic. I don't actually think Ashes is setting us all up for a huge failure, quite the contrary, actually, but I wanted to take a minute to discuss what will be the cause if it does end up failing, and this is my top 5 list. Number 5. Broken Promises. For me personally, I find this to be by far the least likely. Having watched dozens of hours of videos explaining the game's various systems, I came away with one massive conclusion. Each system in the game is woven through at least one, if not two or three, or even all of the game's other systems. You cannot strip out the game's caravan system, for example, because it will completely break both the artisan and node systems and severely hamper the entire PvP experience. You'd get similar results if you tried to strip down the artisan system to a bare bones generic MMO crafting system. The caravans, the nodes, and the PvP would all suffer. If you got rid of homesteading, it would magnify the importance of the node system to an unsustainable degree. These are just a few examples. I'm pretty confident that whatever problems the game might have on launch day, a list of under construction features won't be one of them, but if they do launch with unfinished features, this game will be sunk before leaving the harbor. Number 4. The business model. Ashes is going with a no box cost but mandatory subscription business model. The old school MMO fan in me loves this idea, and Intrepid Studios creative director Steven Sharif has laid out the reasons for this model in one of the game's many developer diaries. Steven feels it's unfair to double dip, so to speak, the customer's wallet with both a box cost and then a subscription charge. I completely agree on a moral level with the stance he's taking here. I just wonder if it will hold up on a financial level. That upfront box cost goes a long way towards offsetting money already spent on long MMO development cycles. There is always that urge to switch to a free-to-play model about a year into a game's lifespan to get a massive player base injection and then relieve those new players of their hard-earned money through cash shop items. How many consistent subs will be required to make this game solvent? How many to make back their initial investment? How many to keep enough staff around to push out consistent content? I'm sure they've done their homework and they know what they'll need to keep the game running and adding fresh content, but sudden changes to the business model will shake the player base's confidence and lead to, well, let's say less than savory business practices. Number 3, pay to win. This section obviously doesn't need a huge explanation, but for the sake of being thorough, I'll dive in a little. Ashes will have a cash shop where you can spend premium currency on in-game items. It has been promised repeatedly by the dev team that this stuff will be cosmetic only and not affect gameplay in any way. And there are games out there that operate like this and have stood firm on that ground. Star Wars The Old Republic is a great example. Their cartel market has hundreds of items you can buy, and they do spend a considerable amount of development resources in churning out more of those items, but they only make your character look cool. They don't make you hit harder or carry more stuff or craft faster or better or anything of that nature. If AOC sticks to that promise, everything will be fine. But the first time they release an expansion that has a quality of life issue baked right into it and then offers the solution to that issue on the cash shop, it will be all downhill from there. There are MMOs out there right now that I would play and practically live in if they weren't pay to win. I would gladly pay a sub fee. I might even throw some cash around for some of those pay to look cool skins. But I'm not paying for bag space or crafting mats, gear enhancements, faster mounts, etc. Ashes has to avoid this trap at all costs. Number 2, ignoring PvE content. This ties in a little bit with item number 4, the business model, as we've already determined that they're going to need a certain number of subscribers to keep the game solvent, especially with no pay-to-win items in the cash shop. And to be frank, that number is probably pretty high. One thing I've noticed about virtually all of the PvP-based MMOs that either do not have in-game PvE content or do have it but have ignored it for years is that the player base is a rabid and loyal but very small group of players. And usually they end up selling pay-to-win items on the cash shop to keep the game solvent, and again, it all goes downhill from there. These games become known as strictly hardcore PvP MMOs, usually with a very high skill barrier for entry, a lot of griefing, and a generally toxic community. There is something of a paradox going on here where you need the PvE community to have enough revenue to churn out fresh content, but the PvE community devours that new content as rapidly as possible and then demands new content. And then you need even more PvE subscribers to afford to make the new content. Despite that paradox, ignoring in-game PvE ends up causing both the hardcore and casual PvE communities to move on to other games, leaving nothing but the PvPers with no one left to gank. Eventually, most of them leave, and then your game fails. Number 1. Listening to the extremely loud but overwhelming minority. I've seen this sink so many MMOs it makes my head hurt, especially MMOs that have that consequence versus reward design philosophy, or the idea that there should be things in the game that are hard to get or limited in number, status symbols for people to strive for. You can bet your bottom dollar as much as the rabid fan base this game has already attracted loves these ideas and can't wait to take their shots at AOC fame by taking down bosses on the hardest difficulty, becoming the mayor of a major node, or sitting on the throne of one of those castles. Once the people who aren't even aware of this game yet, and won't be until after launch probably, start pouring in, they will inevitably be on the forums, in Discords, and Reddit complaining about how unfair it is that that guy over there has 10 or 12 or 16 hours a day to play, but I have a job and I can only play 3 and I'll never keep up with him and I'll never achieve what he has. And technically, they are right. It's not fair, but warping the DNA of the game systems to try and make casual or less skilled players have the same chance at the rare stuff as the hardcore or highly skilled players will drive both away. They will complain about class balance, game difficulty, being ganked by other players while peacefully mining ore, or one of 100 other things, but here's the key thing. They'll be playing the game. They will complain about having to chase the carrot, but they'll keep chasing it anyway. Once the dev team figures out some kind of way to make it easy for the casuals to grab the carrot, it signals the end of the game. The hardcore players, the ones who make up the communities that keep large numbers of players playing and subbing, will leave because you've nullified all the hard work they put in, and you'll be left with a soulless game full of casuals who don't build communities, barely communicate with one another, and then leave anyways because you finally gave them the carrot. Intrepid Studios absolutely has to ignore those people no matter how loud they get. And that's it, guys. That's my list. Let me know where I got it wrong or what you think should be in the list in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more videos on Ashes of Creation and other RPGs.